Hey everyone, welcome back to RDLP. I'm Sol and this is Hakuoki, Demon of the Fleeting Blossom, and I'm so excited to be back. I am just so pumped to jump back into this game. When we last left off, we got it in pretty deep with our cute kid. Unfortunately, we found out that he has tuberculosis, which I feel like is probably gonna, spurn us into us needing to demonify him and then dealing with what that means and how that's gonna work. But yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm very excited to see how that goes. So let's just dive right in. I don't think there's much more to say. The season's changed and spring came. Right, there's also a lot of political stuff. That's what I'm forgetting. A huge political shift, but the Shinsengumi are still kind of like on top of the world in a very small way. They don't have a lot of political aspiration, like, they don't have a lot of clout with the head people, but they've got a lot more than they used to. And so I'm feeling like soon that's probably gonna change. We've won all of our battles so far, and we haven't really lost anything, so that probably is what we're looking at coming up, if I have to say anything. Anyway, as always, thank you SprawlRat for all of your kind donations over the last, it's been 2 months. I couldn't do this without you, and you are so amazing. So Kyoto, this place we all live in, Kyoto was filled with cherry blossoms, and the whole city took on a festive atmosphere. Surrounded by the gentle cheer of spring, my footsteps felt somehow lighter. Sup, bruh? How's it going? Got this thing hooked up on lock. Okita watched me prance around with a crooked smile. I'm just like dancing around like, the spring is here, the spring is here, this is fabulous. You don't need to hurry. We aren't going anywhere in particular. Just think of it as a nice, relaxing walk. It's like, calm it. Calm it all the way down. Just lower it. I am not awake enough for this right now. Alright, emeralds. I'll be careful. Keep looking into his eyes, and I'm just like, bad boy. I must soothe his soul. He seems like he's kind of got a lot of anger inside of him, but I think I can break through that. Pierce his heart. That is my goal, actually. It seemed to me that it was dangerous for a captain of the Shinsengumi to think that when he was out on patrol, but I didn't dare say anything to Okita. Then again, things have been pretty quiet lately. Perhaps he was right. No, I told myself I had to focus. Now is not the time or the place for high spirits. Nearby I noticed a few Ronin who slunk off into the side streets at the first glimpse of the Shinsengumi. How suspicious. Why run away unless they knew they were guilty of something? I mean, unless they're afraid of you. That's kind of a dangerous thought. Chizuru, what do you think you're doing? I stared after them intently and must have looked as if I was about to give chase because Okita gave a bark of laughter. Don't waste your energy on them. They're small potatoes. Really? If they were the Choshu guys, then they wouldn't just run off like that. They'd be more confident. The guys who take off like that when we show up are almost always just small-time punks. I see. I didn't see. They're probably guilty of something, maybe some minor crime, but the blues scare off a lot of people these days. The uniform's gotten pretty famous. Oh, the uniform's gotten pretty famous around Kyoto, yeah? Well, it could be infamous, depending on who you ask. It was true, the Shinsengumi blues brought recognition, but that was a double-edged sword. Sometimes they commanded obedience or respect, but sometimes the response was less pleasant. Their uniform had become a symbol, but there was some argument among the Shinsengumi as to whether or not they should adopt a new uniform. Some people, such as Ito, just felt that the uniform should be changed because it wasn't fashionable. Is Ito back from Imperial territories yet? Yeah, I think so. Can't say I'd have minded if he'd just stayed out there, though. Hey, Ito says it's not fashionable. I'd listen to him. He kind of seems to know what's up. He's got his head out and about. And more than just politics. He went to go recruit some of his friends and acquaintances, right? That's what he says, but I gotta wonder how far he really went, you know? How far? What do you mean? If he went out past the Imperial territories, they must really care about the Shinsengumi, right? After all, to go that far, it would be quite a trip to get more recruits. Okita, however, didn't seem to think so. That's what you think? Am I wrong? No, not really. Okita stopped and gazed off into space for a moment. Then, when he spoke, it was to himself. Kondo's too nice. He should just kill Ito. Okita! Please! He had a tendency to talk of killing too easily, and too lightly, but, how could you joke about killing one of your own companions? He let his eyes slide to mine and gave me a small sigh. Companion? I was gonna say, it's not my companion. I don't like this guy, I've only seen him like twice. The scorn in his voice wasn't for me, it was for Ito. Ever since he arrived, Okita and the rest of the captains had never seemed to like Ito much, but I was surprised that he would say something like that where anyone could have heard. I glanced around to make sure nobody would be paying attention. Who heard that? What? Oh, hi there. There in the crowd, a face I'd seen before. Kaoru? Face that looked back could easily have been mine. There was no way I could ever mistaken my own face. Looking back at me. No sooner had I spotted her than she disappeared, melting into the crowd. Kaoru! Hey! He made a grab for my arm, but I'd already moved out of his reach. Owned. Juked him. I might get in trouble for it, but if I didn't go quickly, I'd lose her. Sorry, Okita, there's something I have to do. I caught a glimpse of his confused face as I ducked into the crowd. How many times do I have to tell her not to run off without permission? Why can't you look at this from my point of view? Dames, always running off. You try to grab their arm and pull them back in, but they're like, I'm free! And Chizuru is free. Let's go see what Kaoru's up to. I ran through the crowd as fast as I could, bobbing and weaving around citizens going about their business until at last I caught up to her. She was Kaoru, no mistake. Got her. What's up? What's up, Kaoru? Kaoru, you remember me? Yeah, you were with the Shinsengumi, I remember you. She looked surprised. You ran after me so suddenly, it scared me. Sorry about that, there's something I wanted to ask you. I realized belatedly that I didn't know what I planned to do with her with her answer once I had it, but I knew I had to ask. One of the Shinsengumi saw a girl who looked like me at the Sanjo Ohashi Bridge a while ago. Could that have been you? I don't know. I do go by Sanjo Ohashi fairly often. Is that a problem? She laughed politely. Oh. I mean, I am wearing blues. You are talking to the cops. Did you want to ask if I'd ever been there at night? Could it be? Could Kaoru really have been the girl who interrupted the Shinsengumi at that night? If it was an autumn night and you got in the Shinsengumi's way, then you and I are going to have a little talk. I don't want to give away all the details, but it ends with your death. Souji! Oh, Okita. I hadn't realized he caught up with me so quickly. Oh, you're Okita from the Shinsengumi. Thank you for helping me the other day. She bowed, but Okita didn't seem to notice. So, you gonna answer the question? Were you there that night? Okita wore the same half smile he always did, but his body was as tight as a bowstring, ready to have his blade at his hand in any moment. My death. Please don't say scary things like that. Lots of people pass by Sanjo Ohashi during the day. At night, though, I don't go near it because of that notice board stuff. It was almost as if she'd read my mind. I can't believe you suspect me just because my face happens to look like someone else's. I don't know anything. Oh, of course, I understand. She looked so sad I felt like I had to say something. I knew it wasn't you. After all, how could a normal girl do anything to the men of the Shinsengumi? Okita seemed less convinced. His eyes shifted to me. Why do you say that? Because she's a girl? Because she looks like you? No, that's not it. Couldn't bring myself to admit that he was exactly right. I'd assumed Kaoru couldn't have possibly done it simply because she was a girl. Can I go now? Excuse me. Kaoru. She turned and ducked away, disappearing back into the crowd. Had I done the right thing, I wondered, in covering for her? I was pondering whether or not I should give chase again when I heard Okita begin to cough. Souji. Okita, are you okay? Who's that white wipe It went across the screen suddenly to resemble that we just shifted scenes very quickly. He was bent nearly double and coughing uncontrollably, his entire body shaking with each cough. Okita. Stay back! As I stepped towards him, he threw out a hand and twisted his face upward to glare at me. What? I'm fine, so just stay there, okay? It was the sheer force of his personality that stopped me, not just his words. After a while, his coughing slowed, and then it subsided entirely. Okita, is there something wrong? Like what? When he turned to look at me this time, his sardonic half-smile was back. He looked every part the usual Okita, except that he had grown frighteningly pale. I mean, why don't we find somewhere to rest? You looked like you were in a lot of pain. Oh, I was just tired. I mean, you did make me run all the way here. But... no buts. I'm fine. Now... His expression was suddenly hard. About that girl. Asking her about the thing with the notice board was important. I agree with you. Good, then we need to know if she was an enemy of the Shinsengumi or not. I needed to know. But even no, because of how important that is, you shouldn't have run off on your own like that. What if she had been an enemy of ours? Could you have handled her? Well, probably not. Our track record's not that great, but we can give it a best shot. Did you even consider that possibility? That she'd planned to lure you here? It's a great spot for an ambush, you know? You're right. Fine. She hadn't tried to attack me, but Okita was right. Next time, I might not be so lucky. I could have easily run right into a trap. You need to be more careful, alright? I can take care of you, but without me around, you're just a useless kid. Sorry. Shinsengumi had done so much for me, I just wanted to give something back. Instead, I'd only caused more trouble for them. Alright, lecture's over. Okita looked tired and more than a little frustrated. I tried to apologize again, but he cut me off. Stop being so timid. You can rely on us when you need to. I've gotten pretty used to saving your ass at this point. A couple more times isn't gonna mean much. He let out a snort of laughter. Okay. Pretty good. That night, after everyone else had gone to bed, I lay awake thinking about all that had happened. Couldn't forget what Okita had said. Useless kid. He was right. Compared to the captains, no. Even compared to the weakest Shinsengumi foot soldier, I was pathetic. Don't be so hard on yourself, honey. There was nothing I could do for them. It wasn't as if I'd tried to imagine myself as some sort of warrior, but to have my lack of worth so bluntly stated was just such a blow. Okita. I lay there, staring at the ceiling. Can't go on like this. Tomorrow, I start working harder. Didn't want to run off on more pointless adventures that did nothing but cause more trouble. That meant I needed to develop better judgment, and if I'm going to do that, I need my sleep. But no sooner had I closed my eyes, when suddenly... there was a crash from the hallway, outside of my room. I rolled up and out of bed, just as the door exploded into my room. Oh, hi there. Standing in the hole was one of the Shinsengumi's soldiers. Something wrong? It was dark, inside and out, and I couldn't see his face. He just stood there. I felt a chill run up my spine. Do you need something? Blood. I need blood. Oh no! I have blood. I'm full of it. He was one of the Furies. Yeah, give me blood. I could see now that his face was twisted madness, and his eyes shone like twin fires in the night. His hair glistened white in the moonlight. He was a member of the Fury Corps, and he was utterly and completely mad. No, thank you. Maybe find someone else. I had to call for help. I couldn't possibly face a deranged superhuman monster on my own. You know, that's fair. Despite all of our confidence and stuff from earlier, probably not good to take that out on the superhuman Fury. No, can't call for help. Even if I did, then the secret of the Furies would get out. That'd be bad for the Shinsengumi. I had to find another way. The Fury, unfortunately, was not similarly encumbered by doubts. Oh no! Ah! His sword hissed through the air, and I felt the metal of its blade burn into the flesh of my arm. Oh dear. Honey! What? Blood sprang from the cut. Pressed down on it desperately with my free hand, but to no avail. Thick red liquid slipped between my fingers, fell down my arm and onto the floor. Yes, blood! Give me blood! He began to creep toward me, his movement odd and jerky like a massive spider. I backed away from him until I felt my back hit the wall. I was gonna die. Suddenly I remembered Okita's words from earlier that day. Stop being so timid, you can rely on us when you need to. That was it. Then my death wasn't worth their secret. Someone help! Chizuru! A little late. A little late. Blood, blood! He was down on his hands and knees licking my spilt blood off the floor. There was no samurai there. There wasn't even a person in him anymore. The blood on the floor had distracted him, but I knew that would only last precious seconds. It didn't help if help didn't arrive soon. Seconds went by like hours. Please, I beg to any god who might be listening, let someone come. Not enough, not enough! He looked up from the floor. My sleeve was soaked in blood from the cut on my arm. His eyes locked onto it, and I saw them light up with animal hunger. His grin was a nightmarish thing. Yes, that! Give me more of your blood! No. No, thank you. No. There was no doubt he was going to kill me. I froze.